it's Jean from the Inky Studio. I hope everyone is doing great today. I appreciate you stopping by, and I am working on a design team project for Ephemeras Vintage Garden. And I think in the last video, I pointed out that it was Love is Chic is the kit, but it's under a bundle. So the bundle is actually called Jardin de Amour, which I totally slaughtered that because I cannot do French, but that is the bundle kit's name, and it's all linked down below. But there's so this is the other part of that kit, and it has lovely ephemera that can go just about anything that's shabby chic or even vintage. It's a great kit to have, and you even get these really neat wax seals in there. I think that is so fun to use. So I just wanted to point that out to you, that it's sort of a double kit. And so here is the project so far. We last video we got this done and completed. I'm using this upholstery cover, and if you missed the first one, I will link that down below as well. So I went ahead and I picked out all the signatures, or made them up, and I went through and sort of did a little bit of stenciling with some roses, a little bit of a lace, blue lace stenciling, and a little bit of vintage photo stenciling here on this side. So yeah, I went through and did all of that on those pages. You know, just got other things. I think I got some music sheets in some of them. I put in some bags. I printed on the other side of the digitals pattern paper, and I did it very lightly so you can write over that quite easily. So that's what I've done here, and I've made 5 signatures from these. I got some scrapbook paper as well in here, but I did that. So that's where I am right now, and what I want to do is put the signatures inside this cover. Now, Nick the Booksmith, from which I get this idea from, she sewed right into the fabric itself. I don't know if I could really see it well enough to do a good job with it, because it's a dark fabric here on the inside. It's kind of on the darker side, and she just put marks in there where she was well, anyways, if you saw the video you would know. And I also did not know if I wanted to have threads here anyways, because I kind of like the design coming through and showing through and all that. So I have decided that I'm going to do it a little differently. I am going to take a piece of, well, it's a piece of cardstock, but as you can see, it's not a very heavy one. Very lightweight. I think it's what I got at either Michael's or Joann's. It's supposed to be 65 pounds, but I do kind of wonder about that. Anyways, so that's what I got for the inside. And, you know, I have it so that it doesn't impede the folds. So I needed to cut it so it was inside those folds very nicely there. And a little shorter than, of course, the cover itself. And what I plan to do is sew my signatures onto this and then glue this into the cover. And that way you won't see the stitches on the outside. Yay! But I didn't really want this cardstock to just show like that. So I decided what I would do is I would cover it with just a little bit of muslin, and have the muslin peek out just a tad at the top and bottom, and have it be maybe like 1/4 of an inch wider than the cardstock. So that's kind of where I decided I would go with that. So let me just get my scissors and we will rip this up. So I've got it ripped up the size I want. And you know what? I save all the little threads that come out after you rip it up. There's lots of little, oftentimes there's these little threads. You just sort of want a little bit more fringe on your fabric. I save all these little threads because they make really interesting texture to add to collages and such. So I have a little baggie and I just poke them in there and I separate them between neutral and colored. And yeah, so you know, save it all. Yeah, if you really saw my craft room, you'd say, whoa, you save it all and more. Yes, I do. All right, now let's glue this together because I want to glue the muslin on top of, oh, nope, I don't. I want to draw my lines on here now. That's what I want to do. Yep. I want to draw the places where my dots are going to go. Okay, and then let's find the middle of this little guy. And the middle is, well, what am I doing that for? No math. I don't want any math. No math. Okay, here we go. Here's the middle right there. So the middle signature is going to go there. And so that's one, and then two on each side. So there'll be one here and one here. So each of them will be 1/4 of an inch apart is how I'm doing it. And I think each signature has roughly 6-7 pages to it, plus a baggie. Alrighty, so I've got those done, and I'm going to lightly, very lightly, no, I'm not going to draw a line because I don't want too much to show. So I'm going to find the middle this way. And yeah, this is a little bit on the fly creating. And I am kind of holding my breath in that, hoping this will all work out the way I see it in my brain. Oh, sometimes it doesn't always do that, right? And now let's, so you might want to wait until you see the finished product. Okay, let me just make these. I'm making a 5-hole punch. Is my camera swaying? You know, I might have to correct that here in a minute. Yeah, I think the camera's swaying. So what I'm essentially doing, and I'm going to do for each of these points, is I'm going down about a 1/2 inch, an inch from that one, inch from that one, and then this one, of course, will be right in the middle. So I'm going to do that throughout all these lines. I'll just move up and I'll do the same with this section right here. And let me go fix my camera because I think it's starting to jiggle. Okay, I have my dots on here the way they should be, all ready to go. Yep. And then here is my muslin. I'm gluing the muslin over it, but because it's a thin muslin, the little dots will show through pretty well. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do this. You know how it is. Let's just glue this down. And I'm using glitter glue. I don't know, I'm not using Fabri-Tac because something this thin probably would come through on the other side, the globs and stuff like that. So let me just put this little guy right in the middle of my piece, pretty much in the middle. All right. Oh, good. See, they did show through. Yay, that worked. Alrighty. Yeah, this is a little bite my nails project here. Okay, so eventually that's how it's going to go. It's going to come over and the fringe is going to peek out. Yeah. So we're good to go on that. Yeah. So I decided to put in a few of the signatures before I showed you how I sew them in. And everyone has their own way of doing it. I mean, if you search for sewing in signatures, you will get various different results. And you have to find one that works for you. I'm just going to show you one that works for me. And what I do is I take my signature and I take out the middle page. Now, after I've already, backed in, marked up my spine or whatever base I'm sewing into, I then fold this back the opposite way gently, and I align it up in here. And what, if you have different sized paper, then I would recommend finding first the middle of that page, like this. All right, so that is the very middle of this page. I'm going to take that middle and line it up to the middle on my spine. Then I'm going to mark it at the different dots here that I have marked out for where the stitches are going to go, lightly with a pencil, so that when you're done, you can see the marks there. All right, I do that, and then I'm going to, of course, put clips to make sure that my pages are not shifting. Let me just do that real quick here. Like so. Do the different four corners, make sure this is all nice and everybody is in their fold. You want them in their fold nice and tight there. I'm going to take my awl, but I'm going to be very careful, and I'm only going to go in a little bit. I just want a tiny little hole. I don't want to go up all the way on my awl because the holes get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you want to put it in a very controlled little hole. And I'm going to do that. Now, some people don't poke holes. They only poke one hole in, and then they poke the other holes as they poke. I'm not even going to tell you that because that's for an advanced, I think. So now I'm going to poke holes here in the spine, and I wait if I can, and I can't always do this. It depends on the spine. But for this type of spine, I'm going to wait until I do each row before I poke a hole in it, just because I won't get confused. That's a personal thing. Definitely not necessary. And now we'll get our thread out, and I'm going to do 3 times the height of my page. And the reason for that is I want a lot to hang down below because of what I'm going to be doing later. But 2.5 is generally, it's generally good enough, in my opinion. Let me get my needle here. Let me thread my needle. And I need to put in a generous little tail, because I want it to hang down below my page. So we'll put a tail in like that. Now you want to check and make sure your signature is in the right orientation. Okay, so if you got something like this on the front of the signature, it's easy to put this in wrong. Okay, so you got to always open it up, make sure that your images are matching the image orientation of your other signatures. Trust me, I've done this before where I put in the wrong direction. And we're going to go start in the middle holes. Now this is a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and but I've seen it done in different, I might need a little bit more here. I've seen this done in a different way, but this is the direction, or this is the order. In different orders I've seen how they go through the holes, but this is the order that I go through. So I've gone through the middle. You know, you could go here, but I'm going to go down the bottom. I'm going to the bottom, not the very bottom, but the one next to it. Come up here and fish around for my hole that I made. All right, fish around for it. There she is. Oops, had it. I had it. So this is, of course, once you start getting your signatures in here, you can see how if you were sewing into this book, they would all be attached in here, so you would have this whole thing to deal with. And that's why doing it this way, I think, is so much easier. Oh dear, yes. And it just depends on the look you're going for. Really, it does. I think putting in a spine this way helps you feel, at least it did me, it helped me feel more confident. Oh dear, I might not have had enough here. Yeah, looks like I need more string in there. So sorry. I think doing it this way is helpful because you don't have the pressure of getting it, you know, perfectly. Sorry, I had to take my tangle out. Anyhow, so once I've come up through here, so the goal is, for me, is to have stitching thread between all the holes in the back and all the holes in the front. All right, and I've done that. Let me tighten it up. And now I'm going to skip this middle hole and go all the way to the top. And come on into this one. Here up on top. And it is a little fiddly when you've got more than one signature in here, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And we'll just go back into this hole that we made. There. Just like that. And pull it. Go back in. Because our, you know, we want to put stitching between all the holes. So we're going to go back in over here. So the very last stitch, the very first stitch and the very last stitch comes up to the middle. Right like that. What I like to do, and you don't want to pull it this way because you'll make your hole bigger, you kind of want to pull it like that. You see this long stitch here, and these are my 2 tails. So I want one tail to be on one side of that stitch and the other tail to be on the other side. And so at this point we will tie a knot. And a square knot, so you tie it one way and you tie it the opposite direction, and then I do the opposite direction again. Okay. All right, all the signatures have been sewn in. Don't have to worry if these are perfectly even because you're not going to see them. And you could, I forgot to point out, that if you didn't want the ties to show, then you would start sewing from the back. and do it that way. And then you wouldn't have any, you would just have stitching and no ties at all. So that's that's the nice thing about this, which is, I believe, called a hidden spine. Those are just some advantages of using that method. So now we're going to glue this into the upholstery fabric spine. And I'm going to place glue just on that piece of cardstock. All right, I don't want to put the glue on the muslin. All right, I'm going to place that. So I want to make sure that I get it inside the cavity and I don't glue over on the board. And with Fabric Tech, you do have a little bit of a grace period. So I am just going to do this and squeeze it up, make sure that's all correct. And then I'm going to come in here between the signatures. I am going to run some kind of a tool, credit card, burnishing tool, whatever you have. You might be able to do your finger, depending. Where's the middle of the signature? Okay, there we go. Try to find that spot in there. Okay, and so that we will get it down and put it down inside here like this. It's just a matter of rubbing this down. So here it is. It's pretty well dried up. I am so excited. I love the way this is. Yeah, I really do like the way this feels. And this looks so nice. Looks very nice and shaped up. I think that little bit of cardstock was just enough to firm it up a little bit. Yeah, I like it. Now I don't know if I'm going to be gluing down this here yet. I might. I don't know. I gotta think about that a little bit more. Probably towards the end. But oh yeah, I'm getting excited because now I can go in and start doing a little bit of decorating on it. So anyways, I have that much done and we will see you next time. Please subscribe so that you can check that out. And thank you so much for watching. You have a great and crafty day. Bye.